Hey, FlimsyLunchTray here, and welcome to World of Warships for first impressions video today on the new Tier 10 American battleship, the experimental ship called Oregon, which is just a copy and paste of Georgia at Tier 9 and placed up at Tier 10 with some gimmicks basically being revolving around the burst fire consumable, if you want to call it consumable, I guess it is. And then the fighter flight. So I've covered Vyazma, I've covered Mets. So a little bit with Oregon here today, as we're going to have a pretty good game. I think I probably said it in the title or seen on the thumbnail. We're going to get a Kraken Unleashed out of this game. And so part of the Oregon's gimmick, which is the fighter flight, is that your ship begins with a reduced amount of hit points, which you see with the Charlie Kilo for the combat signal gives us a little more hit points. It's 31,140 with that combat signal. I think otherwise it's like 29,000. And then your minimum HP threshold to activate or get the most out of the fighter flight is around 18 or 19,000, something like that. Basically, the max potential is for you to get a main battery reload time reduction by a negative 15%, and your main battery shell dispersion horizontally, vertically be reduced by negative 23%. So basically it invites a more risky gameplay where you're running around with less hit points, but you do have to manage when to use your heals. You get 6 of them. So it looks like, at first glance, oh yeah, you get more heals than other ships. Well, it's because basically you would use 1 or 2 up just to get back up to full health if you decide to do so. The biggest weaknesses with these ships, is one is I wasn't very excited to see Colombo, SAP. SAP's gotten more dangerous, especially with Colombo having the unique upgrade, basically tightening its shell dispersion. So we can absolutely get demolished right now if Colombo lands a decent amount of his sap shells, but I think he goes for the Shimakaze there. And we're going to see us deal with Loria, and you're going to see how much a Loria sap salvo does with 8 457s, all of which connect with this 15 kilometers away, as it about damn near kills us in addition to the Shinano CV dropping us simultaneously. So if you don't manage your health well, and it's kind of temptation in one sense to just constantly be wanting to run on the lower hit points just because you get a faster reload time. We just fired and we're already at a 10-second reload time. I probably should have looked to see what does the reload look like after firing before using the heal. I think I end up using the heal here eventually, but not yet. So it's really nasty, right? Where it used to be like Republic, when you played it, you had among the fastest reload time for a tier 10 battleship. So what Republic does really well is catching broadside. So you fire a salvo on your battleship and then you catch them off guard because they think they have enough time to go full out broadside and kite away, and they don't. And then Oregon punishes that even more because of the burst fire, which when you do use the burst fire, it does drop your concealment down. So it's like over 18-second reload time, but it drops you down to 12.5 when you use the burst fire. And I'd switched to high explosive here because I thought that maybe Colombo used the DCP with the Shimakaze torps, so I was hoping to set a fire, but I ended up switching back to AP because I thought maybe he's going to go broadside. He doesn't here. Our sub decided for some reason to go hunt the Harugumo, which is really dumb. Like, it's not often, they took shotgunning away, so you really don't run those engagements anymore. So really dumb move by the Bilal. Here you get to see the burst fire gimmick at work. So he has 20-some thousand, 22, 25, I can't tell exactly. The second salvo for some reason is always more accurate. Don't ask me why. It is what it is. So I'm going to get turned back in as I want to play closer to the Shimakaze, which was the reason why I even came over to the 1-2 line. Beyond that, so you had the burst fire modified shells. I think the standard reload time is around like 38 seconds, but you're basically, you get 12 shots off in total when you use it. With like a 1.7 second burst interval, depending on adrenaline rush and that kind of thing. And I didn't check. I think it's around 70 some of the limited AP type, and then you go over to standard stock AP shells. So these AP shells, basically what they do in comparison to the standard armor-piercing shells is they have a faster shell velocity, faster flight time. And then, what was the other thing that they got? Reduced range. I don't remember if the ricochet penetration angles are slightly better. I'm spacing that because I'm literally just getting used to the ship now. And normally I'd have a second monitor up with this information, but my second monitor I just bought in July has officially crapped out as of a few days ago. So we're going to be using that warranty with Asus to get a replacement or get it fixed. So it's a bit annoying. I'm back down to one monitor after the glory having two monitors. So with that being said, anyhow, that's really what you have going on with the ship. Outside of it, if you're used to Georgia, I present to you Oregon. Even the hit points are the same between both the ships. The other fun thing with Oregon is you build into, on the first slot, the damage control party mod special upgrade. So then you'll see it here later, but or actually we end up using it here, I think, because we get a flood on us. It's over a 31 second action time on the DCP. Here we use a burst fire on the Rugamo because he's right bow on. And now I finally decided to go ahead and use the DCP. The longer lasting damage control party really helps with submarines. Like this is my second game in Oregon. The other game was complete crap. Our team had no map control whatsoever, and they gave up all 3 caps right at the start, and it was just like a bad game. The only thing that was like interesting to pull from that game was I had a submarine constantly trying to ping me while I had this 31 second damage control party going. So you really want to build into that. If you have the coal, it's in the coupon, it's like 12,750 coal. So, basically we're in this position where one of the things Georgia's known for is that you're actually faster than a good number of the high tier destroyers. So then you just use your engine boost. It's a 15% engine boost. So I think we push around 40, 41 knots when we're going a straight line. And Rugamo dumped all of his torpedoes. He uses torpedo reload booster, so now we just get to basically yellow him. The closer we push onto the sub, it also helps us since he can't shotgun us anymore, so he doesn't get full torp damage. But we're also going to start dealing with the CV here in a minute as we have spotter plane helping us as well. So we're just waiting to see where the Rugamo was. So I kind of wait a moment just to see how he's going to turn. And we get the kill there. So that's one of the nice things when you do have burst fire, like on a Georgia, because you can just instantly yoink the DDs when you run up on them like that, and you just don't have to mess with them, honestly. And because we know there's a sub here, naturally we're going to just be turning in to avoid. We do get an 11-kilometer range on the depth charge airstrike, and you only get 3 fighters as a whole, which you already see me popping up to use because I don't think Oregon doesn't have enough powerful AA burst fire again. Oregon doesn't have enough powerful AA to prevent a second strike from a high tier CV. Here it's a tier 10 CV, let alone a super CV. FDR will just kind of own you in that sense. So you do need the fighters to help you out if you can focus. I mean, if it wasn't for our fighters, like, Shinano, he only got 1 torp off there, right? If our fighters hadn't intervened, which our fighters shot down 4, like, our fighters did better than the AA on our ship. Like, we've just shot down 3 planes where our fighters did 4, right? You're kind of up a crick. You'll take a lot more damage as it is. So if you do time your AA well, that's good. I go ahead and preemptively heal because I kind of have this feeling in my gut I'm going to need to get my next heal off as soon as possible. And we get full use out of this heal anyhow. Part of it is that as I push in, I can see the smoke screen from Shinano actually is going out towards the right, which is still really dumb to me that CVs have smoke screen. Like, so stupid by wargaming in my opinion. But I know he's going to be running off towards the 5-6 line. So he's probably going to be focusing me because I'm kind of the immediate threat. And then there's also Aloria up on the 7-8 line BC. and I'm expecting to have sap fired at me. As I'm really hunting for my Kraken, I'm kind of hoping that it's the going to be the CV that would be the Kraken. And also we're running the engine boost upgrade, so then we have almost a 4-minute action time on our engine boost, which is like incredibly good, and you get 3 engine boost, so we have 12 minutes of engine boost effectively if the game goes that long. So that's great. Now I want you to pay attention, because I thought I got citadeled by the Loria. If you watch how he pins my stern, it looks like there's like 2 explosions. So Shinano and him are shooting, dropping at the same time. Watch my hit points. Yeah, 287 hit points. So we definitely needed to get that heal. And we do get our Kraken, but it's on the Loria instead. So if you go back and watch the replay, there was like these 2 explosions that look really similar to when you get citadel. So I was talking in the WoW's operations of Forgotten Void's Discord server trying to figure it out. And I think ultimately, like when you look at the post-battle results, we took 8 sap shells, and I don't think Colombo ever fired at us, if I remember right. And so we just took a lot of pin damage effectively from Shinano. So this is a complicated situation because Shinano wants to drop us kind of like bow on. So we basically needed to present a broadside. We're going to prioritize our A. You still see we use our fighters. We're up to 6. Our fighters have shut down 6 planes now as a whole. Up to 45,000 A damage. Brings us down lower. So that was a good decision to turn out. Basically, when you get dive bombers like that, you want to turn broadside to them. There's some that have a horizontal ellipse, so it doesn't actually help you to go broadside, but I'm pretty sure Shinano's is more vertical, if I remember right. I could be wrong. But then he comes back with these stupid skip bombers that are armor piercing, like that's just dumb because you wouldn't use the skip bomber like barrels or whatever to pin. Like they have insane values in terms of what they can penetrate, so it's really dumb. So we get our heal off just in time. So that's another bonus that this is a 60-second heal, as he takes 20,000 from us in that salvo because we couldn't really get turned in time. But the Shikishima ends up wiping the board, taking out the Shinano, which is great for us. So, yeah, so you can, depending on the CV, you'll maybe have a difficult time with Oregon. Otherwise, my impressions, I've been playing it more in ops. I've probably got 5 or 7 op games in this, but second in randoms. I'm overall pleased with the ship. I mean, of course, it hurts when you miss. When you have more hit points, your dispersion matches more that of the Georgia, which can be frustrating sometimes. So you definitely are tempted to run on the lower hit points. But you just have to kind of wait for the opportunity to make your play. That's similar to how Georgia plays. I didn't do a full secondary build on Oregon, although in the 3rd slot I think I do have secondaries just to get the range out and help with dispersion a little bit. But it's 25 plane shot down, 5 kills and 2,400 base XP. We didn't get a lot of damage just because it was a DD and a CV, or DD and a submarine, that we dealt with. More damage was on the Colombo effectively in this game. We took 146,000 damage. So this is the same build that I run on my Wisconsin in terms of the commander. We're running Halsey here. And this is just the green boost, or not green boosters, gray boosters is what you see here, because it's just a tech tree ship. So you don't get any enhanced credit rewards. So the goal is Friday to do a proper Friday highlight of the ship with an upgrade commander build. I really like Georgia, and that has so far translating really well to really liking Oregon. There was some bug, I don't know if they fixed it with Oregon, when you switch to your burst fire range of 12.5. That was the extent of your spotting detectability after firing your main battery, versus it being like over 23, I think, or whatever the whole gun range of Oregon is. So you do get more gun range than on Georgia, because Georgia is like 20.4 or something like that. So I don't know if they fixed that bug, but at least it was in existence. So if you do notice that, then let me know in the comments if that's still a thing, because I keep forgetting to check that when I've been playing the ship the past few days. So with that being said, if you liked today's video, give a thumbs up. If you didn't, give a thumbs down. Subscribe if you do want to see more. If you subscribe, thanks so much. I appreciate it. Thank you to my Patreon supporters. Until next time, take care.